This is the Analysis in Chains with Nathan Williams and Neal Kieran.
Welcome to Analysis in Chains. Happy fall, we're back. We've been away for a couple of weeks. I've been traveling the world. Neal's been busy with family, eh? How's the family going?
They're going good. They're still alive. So to me, that's how I judge myself as a parent. You know, as long
That sounded really dark. They're alive to me. They'll always be alive to me.
So as long as they're walking and breathing, you know, I am.
The bar is low.
I am a contender for Father of the Year.
All right. Well, I was off gallivanting around the world. I was in Australia, then the Netherlands, then Switzerland, all for business. I want no more travel, please.
Unless you're going to make lots of money from it.
Well, that's it. Yeah, sometimes you got to go. It just doesn't sound like fun anymore. It's more work now. But I see as I was gone, Ether has been taking a pounding, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting since we last spoke. It was looking like, hey, maybe we're going to have another rally. Bitcoin was going well. But we've kind of been on this long-term downward slope. And when we look at technical analysis, like it would go so far high, like it can't beat the previous high, and it'll go so high and just go back down. And this has been going on for the whole of this year. And I think that every time the little ride begins, people keep thinking, okay, it's going to break through this psychological barrier and it'll just go to the moon. But the thing is that I think people need to be wary of, you know, what's happening out there. And if they look at transactions, if they look at hash rate, you know, we're nowhere near what how I guess active the community was in 2017 in terms of transactions. And if you look at hash rate, like I'm always going with this hypothesis, if hash rate just keeps on going higher and higher and higher indefinitely, well, that just creates pricing pressure, creates oversupply because guys are having to convert their newly minted Bitcoin straight into fiat currency just to pay the bills. So
yeah, when you think about it, like if you're a miner, you've bought mining hardware. It's in your interest to use it. Otherwise it's just sitting there, getting older, collecting dust, not producing crypto. So you don't have much choice. You got to be mining something. And whereas if there's an oversupply of crypto and the price is down, you're going to have less use for it because people are going to wait. I know a lot of people who are like, well, let's just wait to do my ICO, wait till the price is better, wait till the market picks back up. And it's funny because, you know, it's not like there aren't ICOs going on. There are, and a lot of them are hitting their hard caps, but there are fewer of them than before. And so if you've got, that means there's just a bunch of unused crypto going out there.
yeah, and the thing is that when you look at hash rates, what I find very interesting is that Bitcoin is the one that's still going up, but a lot of them have started to go down, which I think is encouraging. If you look at Ethereum, the price is now at $202 and the hash rate's going down, which makes sense because, you know, it doesn't make financial sense as a miner to be mining excessively when the price doesn't give you any profit or it doesn't cover your costs. And the thing is, this is healthy. This makes sense. It means that I think you will get to a point where you hit this equilibrium with hash rate and price, and it will start to grow again. But with Bitcoin, I think if people are just constantly increasing the hash rate, it's like this gold rush, and everyone's scrambling to get every single Bitcoin because there's only 21 million, and you know they think there's going to be the new digital gold that will take over the world. It's going to make it very hard for the price to climb up. And I think once you start to see hash rate level off because it gets to a point that just no one wants to invest in any more hardware, then I think things will start to get interesting. And if you look at the previous, say, boom bust cycles for Bitcoin, the hash rate went down after every boom bust cycle. This is like the only boom bust cycle that for some reason hash rate's actually continuously going up, which I reckon if hash rate had actually leveled off or gone down, you could maybe see a Bitcoin price above 10,000 by now.
Hmm. It's interesting, isn't it, that even though the Bitcoin algorithm was built to be dynamic, uh, according to how many people were mining it, it's not responsive enough. It's just not responsive enough to keep up with the hash rate and the number of people that are mining, and so you got this oversupply of Bitcoin.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the early days of Bitcoin. I think it really worked. You know, there was like a utopian view during the time of, say, when the white paper was written, and but I think they kind of didn't foresee the sort of capitalistic nature of it, like when it really takes hold, when people go crazy for it. That with the mining and stuff like this, I don't think they foresaw how crazy it would get in such a way that you really only have 3 or 4 mega miners now. I'm exaggerating with 3 or 4, but what I mean is that you get fewer and fewer miners as opposed to being this decentralized system that any one of us is like mining or verifying transactions. It's I think they thought they had an incentive model that would be as decentralized as possible, but I think that yeah, as you're saying, the model of Bitcoin economics unfortunately means that people are incentivized to keep mining and make as much money as possible.
It's this weird double-edged sword. I mean, the reason that everybody knows about crypto in the first place is because people made a pile of money on Bitcoin, on Ether, on ICOs, but it's so counter to the idea of why Bitcoin exists in the first place. I don't know. It's I was talking to someone recently, just a couple of days ago at a startup event, and they were working on a level 1 blockchain, and we were talking about incentive models and how to get it right, and how it's really, really hard to get it right, of how many coins to give out, what the block rewards are, who gets rewarded. And the challenge that they told me was that it's only the biggest miners that get the majority of the rewards. If you look at Bitcoin, you have to be part of a pool, or you're going to get nothing. And even if you are, you're still going to get nothing. But you don't want a centralized system where it doesn't matter if you're confirming transactions or not. You want it to be incentivized that everyone will participate. And it started to make me think, like, what other incentive models could you run such that individuals running with their PC would still be encouraged to help confirm transactions? I was thinking about this because I don't know if I ever mentioned this on the air, Neal, before, but it's always struck me as odd that with cryptocurrency, they only ever consider cash and financial rewards to be incentives, but humans are actually incentivized by many other things, right? Cash for sure, but also autonomy, mastery, purpose, and status, like belonging as part of a bigger group. Think of Wikipedia. How do you incentivize people to be Wikipedia editors? Well, it's because they get good at what they do. They're part of an elite group. They have a higher purpose in life of guarding the world's knowledge. And I always wonder, like, how you can incorporate that into a blockchain system. I mean, I got an idea, but I don't know if it's the right idea. But like, one thing that came to mind is, imagine that you have, for example, a non-fungible token when you sign up and run a node, and that it levels up over time. And the longer you're part of a node, the higher a status you have. And then maybe like a portion of the block rewards go to a randomly chosen participant. And if you've got a gold status token, then you have a higher percentage chance of getting that portion of the reward, even if you're not contributing as much hash power. It could be stuff like that. Although when I said that, someone said that sounds a lot like NEM.
And it sounds a bit like Horizon, which used to be known as Zencash. And the thing is, but you're onto something there. It's like people are exploring, master nodes incentives and other ways of incentivizing people to be part of the network, as opposed to just say having GPUs or ASICs or whatever. Because not everyone wants to get involved that way. And have all the noise and all the problems that come with it. And if you end up having proof of stake, systems as well in the future, well then, like, how does that work? And then, is that only for making new blocks, or would you have nodes would you be incentivized to be a master node or a node in the proof of stake system? And I think this is what interests me about the likes of Cardano and other blockchains that are still in development. Is, okay, what's your incentive model going to be? Because Bitcoin, people see it as the number one, the most ultimately decentralized and stuff like this. But I sometimes fear that it could catch up upon itself, its own incentive model in the end. And I know people say, they give out about other crypto out there, other blockchains, and say Bitcoin's number one. But the thing is that innovation doesn't work by just having one entity. Innovation works by having competing entities. And I think by having these other blockchain models out there and testing new incentive models, I think this is very, very important for crypto as a whole. But the thing is, we're going through that lull period now that these new blockchains aren't built yet. They're still, some of them not even at the beta stage. And I think that when they get going and we start to look at their incentive models and we see how the network effects created by their incentive models, I think that's going to be very, very exciting. I think that's going to be the new place, or the new area that's going to be monitored the most and we hear about the most. Because at the moment people get rich from buying ICOs. Well, I think, and then everyone wants to be part of that. Well, then maybe these blockchains with the new incentive models, we start hearing about other people getting rich with these incentive models, and then everyone wants to be part of that. So that could be the new wave that's coming.
It's such a challenge. It's such a challenge because you got to get beyond this small clutch of people that are true believers in crypto to a mass market adoption if you're going to see crypto change the world. And the challenge is that the mass market is interested because some people made a pile of money really fast. And so overcoming the gold rush mentality is it's not an easy thing to do. But it did happen with the internet. So it can happen here too.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. So when are you planning your ICO?
Me? Yeah. I think I keep my ICO ideas to myself until the market enthusiasm is willing to pay for any stupid idea that comes into my head. So until that euphoria is back, I think I keep my ICO ideas to myself.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because that's probably what everyone else is thinking, which is probably why there's fewer ICOs, which is why Ether is taking such a hit compared to every other crypto.
Yeah, well, we're going to see, once the euphoria comes back, with the crazies like me will come out the woodwork and make the world more colorful again.
Well, time to, if we want to make it happen, I guess we better start a cult, the crypto cult. Join us.
Yeah.
Okay, Neal. See you next time and keep on hashing.